children, it's Mrs. Lee here. It's Assembly number 9 and it's the week beginning the 17th of June 2024. How are you? Are you okay? Me? Oh, thank you for asking. I'm okay too. Come, let's do our routine. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Well, I can see that the long hand, that's the hour hand, is on the 12. And I know that that means it's o'clock. I can see the green short hand, that's the minute hand, is pointing towards the number 5. I put it all together and I get, that's right children, you get 5 o'clock. Now, language of the month. Now the lovely Miss Reed would like us to all be able to speak some words in Punjabi because of that language is spoken by lots of you at home and you hear it as well. And the way to say hello is Sat Sri Akal. Sat Sri Akal. Can you say Sat Sri Akal? Sat Sri Akal. Lovely. Well done. And then we've got our Makaton sign. It changes every week. I'm going to bring it over to you. Can you see? You need 2 hands for this one. The word here is house or home. House or home. House. Home. Can you sign house, home? Now, why does Mrs. Lee want us to think about house and home? Well, hopefully everybody here has a house or a home. It's a bit like a roof, isn't it, that sign that we're making? It's a bit like a roof of a house. Now, not everybody lives in a house with a roof like this. Some of us live in houses where there might be a flat roof. Anyway, some of us live in houses that might just have 1 story. That means there's just 1 floor, everything's on the same floor. The bedrooms, kitchens, lounge, everything. Some of you live with stairs in your house. Some of you have to go upstairs or up in a lift to get to your home. I don't know. They're all different, aren't they? But unfortunately, in our world, there are some people who do not have a house or a home for lots of different reasons. But the main reasons are that their house or their home is in a place where they can't live anymore. And they become known as, do you know what the word is? Refugees. Can you read it down here? It's a long word, refugees. This means that somebody has had to leave their house or their home, maybe leave the country that they were living in. So maybe in the world they've had to change the country that they live in. Maybe they've had to fly somewhere else or go in a boat somewhere else across the world to get away from their house or their home because it's no longer safe. It's no longer safe. And that's a good thing or not a good thing? Well, it's not a good thing really, is it? Because we all love our houses and our homes. You think about your bedroom at the moment. You're very lucky. You might have toys in your bedroom. But children who are refugees will have had to leave their toys and have had to leave their bedroom and they need to get away because it's not very safe. And this week is all about us thinking and us showing some empathy. That's us trying to put our feet in somebody else's shoes and think about what it would be like if we had to leave our home or our house because there was maybe fighting, bombs, gunfire. Maybe there is fire, maybe there has been a famine, that means there's no water and no food, none of the crops are growing. All sad things that can happen that mean that people have to leave their home and lose it and come and live somewhere else. And it could be in another country which is very, very much different to the one that they started off living in. What makes you feel at home? Now, we just talked about our bedrooms where we can go to sleep. Maybe it's where our families are. Maybe it's just what it looks like. Some people, though, might live in tents. Lots and lots of tents. They all look the same. They're all in a big area. There might not be any shops there or schools there that you are used to. There may not be any play parks there. And this becomes their home. We call it a refugee camp. Sometimes people stay there for many, many years. Imagine living in a tent for a long time. Now, we might go and stay in a tent when we go on our holidays. Maybe some of you have been camping before, but you don't stay there very long. You always come back to your home or your house. But sometimes refugees have to stay in those tents for a long time. Some refugees do find shelter, they do find a home or a house, and it'll be in a different country. And the story I'm going to read to you is about a little boy who does that with his family. But when he leaves where he is living, he has to go very, very quickly because there is some fighting going on, and he has to leave some important things behind. I'm going to ask you at the end what the important things were that he had to leave behind. Right, are you listening? The book is called The Colour of Home, and it's about a little boy here and his mum, and it's about his picture that he paints. Miss Kelly told the children in the class that they had a new boy coming. His name was Hassan, and he was from a country called Somali, and she wanted everybody to try and make him feel at home. But the classroom didn't feel at home to Hassan at all. His classroom in his other country had been outside, and they only went to school in the morning because it got too hot at midday to carry on at school. Here, the school was damp. Here, the school had grey clouds. That sounds very familiar, doesn't it, children? However, the children were friendly. They smiled at Hassan, and one of the boys kicked a football towards him. But Hassan didn't know any English, so he found it hard to say hello to people. After lunch, the teacher got out all the paints and paintbrushes, and she gestured toward Hassan, and Hassan understood that she wanted him to paint a picture. I wonder what he's going to paint. Hassan painted a blue sky without any clouds, then a white house, a yellow sun, and lots of mimosa trees. Outside the house, he made stick figures, one for himself, one for his dad, one for his mother, holding a bundle that was his sister. There he put his grandparents and his uncles and his two cousins because they lived all together in this house. He took some more paint, he painted the animals, lots of sheep, some brown goats, and a small sandy creature that was supposed to be his cat. "Ooh," said his teacher, "what a lovely picture, Hassan." But Hassan hadn't finished. Now he chose red paint and orange paint, and he painted great huge flames on the roof of the house, and the sky changed from blue to a murky purple. He drew another stick figure with a gun, and he made bullets come out of it, and he took the red paint again and he splattered it on the white walls of the house, and he smudged his uncle out of the picture. What do you think has happened to his uncle? "That," said Miss Kelly, "that spoilt your picture. What a shame." Hassan didn't know what she meant, but he knew that she was feeling sad, just like him. At the end of the school day, his mum came to collect him from school. She asked him what he had been doing, and he'd explained that they'd been painting, and she asked to see his picture. But Hassan didn't want to show it to her. "Tomorrow, maybe." Next day, Hassan wanted to tell Miss Kelly that he needed to make a new picture, but another lady had come to school to talk to him. She was a Somali lady wearing a black hijab, just like his mother's, only she had jeans on and a leather jacket. Hassan, the lady in the hijab, and his class teacher went off, and they took his picture. He sat in the room, and the lady with the black jacket talked to him and told Miss Kelly all about his picture and what it meant. Miss Kelly found out about all the things that had happened to make Hassan become and his family a refugee. He told her about the soldiers coming. He told her about hiding under his bed. He told her about leaving his home, his lovely white house, with nothing. He told her about leaving his uncle. He told her about leaving his cat. All things that were very, very special to him. He told her how they had gone on a big ship. He told her how they'd lived in a camp full of tents. He told her how it was cold at night and they had to queue for food. He told her about people who stole things, including his mother's jewellery. He told her about how they finally got some money to get tickets to go on an aeroplane to come to England. He told her how frightened he was when he went in the plane. He told her how unhappy he was. He told her how he missed his cousins and his granddad and his uncle and his cat. Hassan talked for a long time until he ran out of words, even in Somali. And when he finished, Miss Kelly had tears in her eyes. "Tell her I want to make another picture," he told the lady in the leather jacket. Then he played football with a friendly boy outside. And at the end of the day, he took his picture outside and he showed it to his mum, and it had a blue sky, and it had the White House, and it had the yellow sun and the mimosa trees, and it had his cat. But there was no guns, no bullets, no flames. This picture was lovely. "It's beautiful," said Hassan's mother. "It's our home in Somali," said Hassan. "I know, I recognise it," said his mother. "We're going to put it on our wall when we get back home." And that's what they did. Inside the home, there wasn't much, but there was his lovely picture, and there was some few things that they had taken from their home in Somalia, and some new things that his mother had made, a big green cushion and a plant that she'd bought. That's the end of that story. It's a bit sad to start off with, wasn't it? Imagine that. Poor old Hassan having to leave everything. And he left two very important things. Can you remember what the two important things were that he left? That's right. He had to leave his cat, and he had to leave his uncle. His uncle because his uncle died, and his cat because they couldn't bring the cat. So, I want you to really think this week about other people. We are so lucky that we've got a house and a home. But there are lots of children around the whole world who are moving right at this moment to try and get away from unsafe places. And they're leaving their cats and they're leaving their toys, and sometimes they're even leaving family, and they won't see them again. They have to get on boats and they have to get on aeroplanes and they have to go and find somewhere safe to live. Well, thank you for listening. Come and look at the display, because there's lots of pictures on the display that will make you think. So when you come to eat your lunch and you're reading a book, maybe look over your shoulder and have a little look at the pictures here. And if you want to, come and ask us some questions and we'll tell you the answers about what it's like to be a refugee. Okay. Now, children, remember what I said last week about going outside to play on the field? Make sure that you are being, that's right, happy and safe. Make sure you're being very helpful by remembering the 7 golden rules. Thank you to all the people that have brought in tombola jars. If you come and have a little look in the hall, you'll see that there's lots more. Have a lovely week, children. Bye.